So one of the most like truly unbelievable parts about my story, when people ask me why I reported the man who had been abusing me for nearly 6 years. Um, so basically, what happened was I was up at his house one weekend, and this had been going on for almost 6 straight years, every single weekend, like several hundred cases of abuse and just really, really bad, right? All the things that already happened to me many, many times over, and I was just going through absolute hell. I was up at his house with a younger friend of mine, and that younger friend, were kind of sitting there playing video games, and Mondo, the man, had made a comment towards my friend, and he actually said to my younger friend, I was 15 at the time, I was almost 16, I was a month away from being 16. This kid was like 2 years younger than me, 3 years younger than me, and Mondo said to him, if you're having a bad day, I can take you back in the bed and blow you. And he just said this out in the open, right? Now, the more incredibly like unbelievable part of it is that Mondo used to do that to me in front of other people. So we had other adult friends that we would hang out with, go watch football with, play video games, hang out with, whatever. We had like his adult friends that we would hang out with. So we hung out with his family sometimes, and then we had these other adult friends. And around these other adult friends who had their own children and of the sorts, he would make jokes about me, and he would say, well, hey, it's time for me and Seth to leave now because I got to go back, and he's got to, Seth's going to do this tonight, or I'm going to do this to Seth, or whatever it was. He would make some sexual innuendo towards me or about me. And what it is, it's a method of hiding in plain sight, right? If I tell somebody I'm going to go rob this bank, or if I walk in, if I tell you right now to your face I'm going to go rob this bank, you would laugh because it's like, obviously I'm not going to go rob the bank. And so that's what people like pedophiles and predators do. They use that almost admittance, right? They're almost admitting to you what they're doing just to test the waters, and they're going to see how you react to it. And so they're going to see, they're going to start lightly. They're going to say some things that aren't maybe as bad. And they're going to test the waters first, right? And if people don't react, then they'll just keep pouring the sugar in the Kool-Aid, and everybody's just going to keep drinking it, right? And at some point, the Kool-Aid becomes so sweet that nobody's questioning it anymore. And they're just like, okay with this Kool-Aid. They're just like, whatever, we're all drinking it, and it's totally normal. And it's a combination of that, but also the bystander effect of, when you see something crazy happening, you gaslight yourself into thinking like that's not actually happening, or I don't want to intervene, I don't want to get in the way, I don't want to be the one who's crazy and thinking of something that's too extreme. And people do this to themselves all the time, which is the reason why violence and particularly like these mentally abusive or these emotionally abusive relationships last so long, is because even the people that are witnessing it like firsthand, not necessarily the victims, but just the witnesses, they can't even, it's so crazy that it's happening, they can't even believe it, so they gaslight themselves. And this is like the bystander effect, right? And so you just sit there and you watch this crazy shit happen, and that's what was happening to me. This man was saying ridiculous things about a kid, and people were just letting it happen. And so to get back to the story, when he had said those things about my friend, that was the final straw for me, because I knew that he wasn't joking. I knew that he was going to start making moves towards this kid to start abusing him. I don't think anything had happened yet. Yeah, I basically made the decision to go home and report him after that weekend. And that's a whole nother like long story. If you guys want, I can dig into the deep details of the reporting situation. Just comment and let me know if whatever questions you might have on that. But yeah, that's why I reported him. And that's kind of what led to that. Yeah, I guess that was one of the questions that I got. Was what led me to reporting him, and how did he make those comments, and how was he like that around other people? It's just a jacked up situation, and unfortunately, that is what's happening to so many people. But my advice to you, if you're listening, is don't be that bystander, right? When something's happening, question it. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is you might upset somebody for a few minutes and be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I guess I was out of line there. Something rubbed me wrong, and I don't know. I felt like I needed to say something, so that's the thing. So many people gaslight themselves into not saying something because they don't want to upset somebody or make a false report. But just make the report or say something, like fight for that, especially for children. But really anybody, if you see somebody in a bad relationship, I mean, say something, and try to stand up and protect that person and be there for that person, because you could be quite literally a lifesaver. So thank you all. If you got any questions about my story or anything else like that, just drop them in the comments. Let me know. Thank you guys.